The American people listened to every word that was coming to them from CBS Radio and Murrow and his team of correspondents, because everyone had such a vested interest in the war. Everyone had a loved one who was fighting in the war.
Allied troops began landing on the northern coast of France this morning, strongly supported by naval and air forces.
The planning for D-Day went on for several months prior to the actual invasion of the shoreline at Normandy on June 6, 1944. In preparation for this, the Supreme Allied Commander, General Dwight Eisenhower, who later became President of the United States, issued a communique to all of his commanders, giving correspondents full access to the troops in the field. He wanted them to be able to report what they saw in terms of the war machine, the war, how the troops were acting in the field, and all the dangers were put right before the correspondents. Correspondents were accredited in World War II, and they were in uniform, and they were, in essence, given military rank and military authority by General Eisenhower. So Ed Murrow and his team of correspondents readied for the invasion of France in June of 1944. Nobody knew exactly what day it was actually going to take place, but the preparations were going on for several months. And Ed Murrow was an eloquent, gifted writer and speaker. He wanted descriptive reports. He wanted the drama to be experienced through these reports. And his correspondents did that. They followed Murrow's lead. He was not looking for correspondents when he brought his team in with great voices. He wanted great minds. He wanted superb writers. And he got that. And as a result, the reports that were filed by the CBS correspondents were quite extraordinary.
This is Charles Collingwood. We are on the beach today, on D-Day. We caught a ride in a small boat loaded with 1,000 pounds of TNT.
In fact, Edward R. Murrow and his team of journalists in World War II literally invented broadcast journalism. Everything they did was new, from reporting live from the field, the descriptive reports that they were presenting to the American people by shortwave radio from Europe.
This place even smells like an invasion. It has a curious odor which we always associate with modern war. It's a smell of oil and high explosive and burning things.
Even the format of the newscast, which was a group of correspondents surrounding an anchor in New York, was created during that time at CBS Radio.
The flights ahead of us dropped their bombs. The guns on the ships offshore resumed fire. The bombs and the shells burst together on the target.
Dick Hotelet flew in one of the bombers over Utah Beach in Normandy, and after the bombing raid, returned to London and filed the first eyewitness report that Americans heard of the invasion of Europe on D-Day.
4,500 feet up, our plane was rocked by the concussion. We got the stench of the explosives. We dropped our bombs as scheduled. Just then we saw down below on our left dozens and scores of white streaks as the assault boats raced over the blue water to the beach, leaving their white wakes stretched out behind them.
I remember asking Dick Hotelet how he would characterize all of these daring feats, and he had two words: occupational hazards. These fellows were incredibly courageous. They wanted to be out there. They wanted to be on the front lines with the troops. They had this full and free access, thanks to General Eisenhower, allowing them that type of access. And again, they were in uniform, so they were considered part of the troops that were moving, particularly during the 3 months of the D-Day invasion. It is very difficult to overestimate the impact that Ed Murrow, his team of correspondents, and CBS Radio had on the American people's knowledge about World War II. They relied on CBS and Ed Murrow to set the standard for broadcast journalism, which they did. They literally created broadcast journalism during World War II, and it is the broadcast journalism that we all aspire to today.